Welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm Dee.
I'm E.
And today's episode is about Kendall Jenner and how she has now been in the modeling business for 10 whole years, which is wild.
Hmm.
I remember Keeping Up and Kimberly trying to force her to model. And here we are all these years later. So, what did she say for her? I believe it was a Vogue cover.
Well, this for the Vogue cover, but this is a People article talking about the Vogue.
Right.
Uh, yeah,
To
you
make
know
her
how
life
it.
easier.
All right, this article is by Vanessa Etienne. The title is Kendall Jenner opens up about anxiety struggles, being a negative thinker. I'm always worrying about something. So let's get started. Kendall Jenner is detailing some of her struggles with anxiety. In her cover story for Vogue's Summer 2024 issue, published May 9th, which is yesterday. This will be published in a few days. We're up to date, guys. The 28-year-old model admitted that she's going through a rough patch right now with her mental health. I'm a negative thinker, she told the outlet. That's my problem. I'm always worrying about something that may never happen. I don't see why I shouldn't be honest about it. In my career right now, I feel really stable, really hopeful. But I've had 2 tough months. I haven't been myself, and my friends see it. I'm more sad than usual. I'm way more anxious than usual, she explained. So I'm not going to sit here and act like everything's perfect. That's life. I'm always going to be in and out of those feelings. In past interviews, when someone's asked me about my mental state, it's always been, I'm doing great right now. But this is what I've deal with all the time. Well, right now I'm actually in it. Jenner said that she believes she suffered from anxiety since she was about 7 years old. However, she didn't know the name for it at the time. She recalled having panic attacks and seeking help from her mother, Kris Jenner, when struggling to breathe, but doctors always concluded she was fine. I was an emotional kid, always in my feelings and in my head, she said. I freaked myself out a bit. The Kardashian star said that unfortunately, with her mental health and when it gets to a low point, she tends to abandon the practices that she knows can get her back on her feet. This is one of those times when I feel I'm actively not protecting myself or actively doing things that I know are hurting me, she explained. That's such an important part of my wellness, recognizing those moments and saying, stop. It's one of those it's not a one size fits all, but for me, it's getting out of bed in the morning and putting one foot in front of the other, and that's so helpful to me. Moving, getting my blood flowing. When I say I'm struggling right now, I'm not doing those helpful things. Choosing to sit in my bed and mope all day is setting myself up for failure. Jenner said that she recently purchased the book, Joseph Nugin's Don't Believe Everything You Think, which has helped her think more positively. She's also trying to get back into activities that make her feel happy and relaxed. For the model, that's horseback riding, which she calls her healthy addiction. Whenever I go ride, of course, it's a great excuse to get outside and not be on my phone and forget about work and fully put my brain and my energy into how I'm going to get my horse over these obstacles, she told the outlet. But there's something about the nostalgia of it. I liked this so much as a kid, but as a kid, you're working with a trainer and your parents won't get you a helmet or the crop you want. Now I'm an adult and it's all my choice and I can do it all for myself. It's like soul food to me.
Okay.
What do we think?
I think it's great that she is very open and honest about her mental health struggles, especially being that she is a high profile person. She has obviously grown up in front of all of our eyes for the people who have kept up with the Kardashians literally. Um and I think she's always been a little bit more reserved out of all of her sisters. She's always been a little bit more just to herself, and so it makes a lot of sense that she struggles with certain things, and that's why she kind of has that sort of personality. I did not get to read the full Vogue article, but I believe there was a portion where she was asked about filming the reality show, and basically she says it's not her favorite thing to do, or it's not like her cup of tea. Um and so I feel like we've talked about it before when we've covered the Kardashians, and it's like we've always said, especially after all the drama that happened, Courtney should have left the show a long time ago. But I think Kendall should have as well.
Hmm.
Um, all we ever get are like what, 3 episodes of her and her sister Kylie. It's the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's it. That's all we get from them if they're not horseback riding or learning how to drive the stick shift or something. Um, so I don't really think that uh, Kendall should be in the show anymore. I think it probably doesn't help with her mental health, and it's crazy that she has been in the industry for this long. She is the highest paid model, which is also wild considering she really doesn't do a lot of like fashion shows. She doesn't do a lot of like fashion week shows and all that stuff. But I mean, 10 years is a long time, so it does say something for longevity, and I'm glad that she's able to recognize the issues that she's going through, and that she's also able to like figure out ways to move forward and help herself, because whew, that's not easy.
Definitely. As I was reading the article, I couldn't help but think, why didn't Kris Jenner, and I'm saying this and it's going to sound mean, why didn't Kris Jenner put her kids first? As we know, when we started watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I said it was going to sound mean.
I'm gonna break out into hives.
When we started watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kendall and Kylie were like what, 8, 9, or 9,
Yeah.
10. They were young. They were
Fun.
little kids in elementary school, cheerleading, being rambunctious, not listening to their parents, wilding out. We
Yeah.
saw this. So if Kendall started experiencing this anxiety around 7, she says, then by 8, 9, 10, they're filming the show. Like, why wouldn't Kris Jenner think, wow, this is probably really stressing out my kid? Let me not put her in the show altogether if I'm that money hungry and we need, you know, to elevate our profile. Let me just leave her on the side. Let me not showcase her. Her
Yeah.
or Kylie, because Kylie likes to be reserved when she wants to be. Like this whole Timothée Chalamet relationship. We don't know if it's on, if it's off, if it's hot or cold, yes or no. That's Katy Perry right there. We're in or we're out. So they don't really like the limelight unless they're using us. But they don't really like the limelight like the Kardashians do.
Mm.
So I think they should have just been left out altogether. I'm no therapist or psychologist or doctor, but I would think that Kendall will be much better off if she didn't have these pressures of maybe keeping up with the family brand or on the family show and just being and doing what she loves.
I mean, I think that's an excellent point. um and Kris Jenner may hate us one day, but
Hmm.
I mean, 7,
Yeah.
7, and you thought pushing her out into the spotlight was the best idea. Um, I think sometimes we not sometimes, most of the time, we see them with the lens of like their privilege, right?
Hmm.
That's how we view them, because that's what we see. We see their privilege.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're still human beings. They're still regular people deep down somewhere. They may like different things than us. They may like more expensive things than us. But they are still regular people, and mental health can affect absolutely anybody. Um, and to me, it's like hearing the as you were reading, just hearing everything she was saying. It was like crazy, because we talked about in another video how Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are in Nigeria, and they did an appearance at a school discussing mental health. And I recall that you said that it's a great thing to be able to help these kids kind of have that awareness, bring this attention. And and you said how for people of color, that's not necessarily something that is discussed. And it's entirely accurate because we are told, you'll be all right. You're fine. Keep going. That's what we're told. That's what we grow up with. And
Yeah,
I
we're
feel
always
like
on survival mode, it feels.
always,
Yeah.
like at all times. And it's crazy because Kendall Jenner obviously is not a woman of color, but in some ways she went through the same thing we did. Her mom practically told her, "You'll be all right. Keep going." The
You're
brand.
doing great, sweetie.
Exactly. And so I recognize in her statements the issues that I've had with mental health and the ways in which that affected me and how I didn't know. I My assumption is that my anxiety began in 2016, but there's things that I reflect on and memories that are triggered where I'm thinking maybe this did happen, or maybe this started when I was a kid and I didn't know. Why? Because our parents are like, "Stop crying. You're fine. Keep moving. Just do your homework." Like, these are
Mm,
things that you think about. You're crying? Oh, you need something to do? Go clean. Like, broom. Like all these things that are just like ingrained in you. And so you shut off certain things in yourself. And like you said, we're like in constant survival mode. Um and it feels like that's the case for her.
mhm,
And maybe that's why she can't get out of that negative thoughts mentality, which sucks because it's just. And then also it's like you got to find the right therapist, because if you don't, like, that's going to leave a bad taste, for you. And you have to be able to connect with like the right kind of people that'll be able to help and guide you. And like for me again, I feel that now, all these years later, 8 years later, I have the tools now that I didn't have then to be able to recognize some of the issues that I'm having, that, and then also have the tools to be able to work through them. But just like how she said, sometimes you just are going to be in bed and not want to do anything. But that's literally like the opposite of what you should be doing. And it's interesting hearing that from somebody that has all this privilege, that has all of this wealth and everything. And it just kind of feels very much like, at the end of the day, you never know what somebody's going through. Um, and and I think she probably shouldn't be doing the show. I think she should have stopped doing the show a long time ago as well. Not just because of the fact, like I mentioned earlier, they are really hardly ever in it, but also because I don't think it's good for her. I recall, like, during one season, a couple seasons ago, where she had some weird conflict with Scott, and it
mhm,
was just like, it was weird. And I feel like that probably really like affected her. Whereas I'm sure Scott is just Scott, he'll be fine, he'll get over it. But she already has these sorts of like issues and these sorts of thoughts. And it was a really awkward exchange. And I just kept thinking, like, yeah, she really shouldn't be on the show anymore. It doesn't feel like it's healthy for her. Similar
mhm.
how we talked about with Courtney. Um, but anyway, they're all coming back for the next season, so here we
And
are.
apparently there's dramas between Kim and Chloe. Of course, I think this is all fabricated. I know, another
All of it.
subject. But I think
All
it's all fabricated because they just need drams. Drams as in drama, guys. There's nothing going on. Courtney doesn't give a damn about the show. Kendall and Kylie only show up 3 times a year. We know that the people that carry the show is Kim and Chloe, and
Yeah,
nothing's really going on with them. The divorce is over. Trish Trash is not in the picture.
there's no more
Chloe,
apology for.
they've been pretty low profile, so they just needed to stir up some things, it seems. But
Yeah.
that's another topic for another video. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think about this article. Do you relate to what Kendall Jenner is going through? What are your coping mechanisms if you have anxiety or mental health? That would be a good comment starter. And,
Yeah.
we'll definitely love interacting with you guys on that. But that concludes today's video. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends can be our friends so we can all be friends. We also have social media, which Steve will tell you about.
We are on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, comment. Also, we can have our interactions in social media. If you guys want to discuss any of the videos on social media, please leave comments. We will definitely be able to discuss things with you out there as well. And lastly, you can also listen to the videos in podcast format via YouTube Music and Spotify.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.